Hey, everyone, Ludwig here. What happens when an entitled influencer tries to humiliate an old man in denim at a high-end restaurant, only to find out she's messing with none other than Chuck Norris himself? Trust me, you won't believe how this one ends. But before we dive in, drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. Now, picture this. It's a calm evening at the Golden Fork, the newest luxury restaurant in Dallas. The kind of place where the chandeliers probably cost more than a sports car, and getting a reservation is about as easy as finding a politician who actually keeps their promises. In a quiet corner, Chuck Norris sits alone at his table, casually enjoying his steak, occasionally flipping through a book of quotes he brought along. Dressed simply in a denim shirt and jeans, nothing flashy, nothing pretentious, just a man having his dinner. And then she walks in. Madison Blake, better known to her millions of followers as at Maddie Lux Life, bursts through the doors like she owns the place. One phone live streaming, the other in hand for texting, while her designer Louis Vuitton jacket practically screams for attention. Her heels click-clack across the marble floor as she talks loudly into her phone. Oh my God, you guys will not believe where I am right now. This place is like totally exclusive. They usually have a 3-month waiting list, but when they heard I was coming, she suddenly pauses her live stream just long enough to snap at a waiter who dared to ask if she had a reservation. "Do you even know who I am?" she huffs, waving her phone around like a royal scepter. The other diners exchange knowing glances. Chuck. He just takes another bite of his steak, watching the scene unfold with quiet amusement. But Madison isn't done. As she's led to her specially requested table, handpicked for the perfect lighting, her eyes land on Chuck in the background of her shot. Her perfectly contoured face twists into a scowl.
Ugh.
Who let him in here? She stage whispers into her AirPods. This is supposed to be a luxury restaurant. He's totally ruining my aesthetic. What Madison doesn't realize, she's about to get a lesson on real influence, real respect, and why you should never judge a book by its denim cover. Frustration builds as she desperately tries to find the perfect angle, but no matter how she positions her phone, there's Chuck, calmly eating his dinner, completely unbothered. This is impossible, she groans, dropping dramatically into her chair. I can't work like this. That's when she makes a decision. She's going to handle this herself. Strutting over to Chuck's table, both phones at the ready, she plasters on her best customer is always right smile. "Excuse me," she says, voice dripping with fake sweetness. "Would you mind moving to another table? You're kinda ruining the ambience of my shoot." Chuck looks up from his book, taking a slow sip of his iced tea. His eyes glimmer, like he's seen this exact kind of behavior before. "I'm trying to create content here," she continues, her tone sharpening. "Do you even know what that means? Do you know who I am?" Chuck calmly sets down his glass. "No, ma'am. Can't say that I do." Madison gasps. "I'm Madison Blake. I have 2 million followers," she practically shouts, waving her phone like a courtroom exhibit. "I make more money in a month than you probably see in a year." The restaurant falls silent. Other diners are now watching, some already pulling out their phones. Chuck glances around, then looks back at Madison with the calmest smile you've ever seen. He casually pulls out his own phone. 2 million, you say? That's impressive. He scrolls through Instagram. "Mind if I check some things?" "Whatever." Madison rolls her eyes. "Just move your tables." "Well," Chuck says, turning his phone screen toward her. "Looks like I've got 2.2 million followers. So, actually, I think you're about 200,000 shy." Madison's jaw drops. She snatches his phone, hands trembling. As soon as she sees the verified Chuck Norris account, her face turns ghostly pale. "This has to be fake," she stammers. But the truth? It's right there in front of her. Chuck stands up, picking up his plate. "You're right," he says. "I should move." And before Madison can even process what's happening, Chuck calmly sits down at her table. "Problem solved," he says, cutting into his steak. "Now I'm not in your background anymore." The look on Madison's face. If looks could kill, Chuck Norris would have had to roundhouse kick them away. And this was just the beginning. What happened next would flip this entitled influencer's entire world upside down. She shrieks, her voice hitting a pitch that makes the wine glasses tremble. This is my table. Do you have any idea how much I paid for this exact spot? Chuck, still cool as ever, takes another bite. Actually, he says between chews, I believe it's the restaurant's table. Fuming, Madison whips out both phones. Oh, my followers are going to love this, she hisses. I'm going live right now to expose how this old man in denim is harassing me. But as the live chat starts pouring in, she freezes. Wait, is that Chuck Norris? OMG Madison, stop. Show some respect. Chuck Norris is a legend. Madison's face flushes as she scrolls through the comments. Nobody even knows who you are anymore, she snaps at Chuck. You're just some outdated has-been. Yet Chuck, unshaken, shrugs. And yet here you are, freaking out over a has-been who has more followers than you. And that was it. Madison storms toward the manager's office, designer heels clacking like furious exclamation points. Manager. I need to speak to the manager. Now. But what happens next? Oh, let's just say, Madison was not ready. And trust me, you won't believe the ending to this.